Audio Jungle.
2 million award for information on Commodore shooting. The government has announced a $2 million reward for information surrounding Sunday's fatal shooting in the community of Commodore in Linstead that claimed the lives of 5 people, including a child. There is a reward, and we will evaluate it as we go along in terms of how much more we can put in towards its rewards, incentivizing the process of giving information. But outside of that, it is a duty of every citizen to provide us with the information. I really sincerely urge those citizens, those members of the community who know, please share the information with us. It is ultimately in your benefit, the Prime Minister stated. The Prime Minister urged citizens to cooperate with the police by sharing useful information about the incident to bring the perpetrators to justice. I want every Jamaican to think of this. I mean, even though we have the terrible set of murders here in one incident, we still have 40% below where we were last year. So we are still on a good track, and we can do even better if every Jamaican were to agree that criminals must be dealt with. They must be brought to justice. We will not protect them. We will not speak on their behalf. We have a singular focus on making Jamaica peaceful, he noted. The Prime Minister, who was speaking during a tour of the community on Monday, said the shooting incident is an act of criminal terror and said he gives his full support to the police to bring the perpetrators to justice. Now, as this is from our perspective an act of criminal terror, the police must dedicate resources to this and focus on ensuring that the perpetrators are brought to justice. This is not a directive from me. It is not a directive from the Minister of National Security, though of course it is within our policy remit and framework. But I've heard the Commissioner himself speak to say this, that it is what the security forces will do, and I give my full support to the security forces to pursue this, Holness noted. The Prime Minister noted that the fatal shooting is similar to that of the Cherry Tree Lane shooting in Clarendon, which left 8 dead and 9 injured, and noted that the police will be acting similarly to prevent reprisals. Not so long ago, we saw Cherry Tree Lane, where I visited, and from what I have been told and what I have seen, I don't want to speak too much on the operational issues. That's the remit of the police. But it would appear to me that the circumstances are similar, and there are things that we have learned from the Cherry Tree Lane incident, and one of them is to prevent reprisals, and I'm certain that the police would be acting in such a way to ensure that there are no reprisals or to prevent them as much as possible, and to be proactive in ensuring that there is a proper security presence and cornered off in the air protecting the citizens here, and to prevent any retaliation coming outside or even from inside going out. So the learnings have been adapted into strategy, and I'm certain that the police will be effective in what they do, Holness noted. The second thing that we learned is that whatever we do as a security response must have endurance. So the criminals sometimes they will go and hide, and as the commissioner said, they have safe haven and people protect them and surround them, and then they wait and then they come back. That would be a fatal error on their part because we will have built out in our security forces. This is called endurance. So they will stay in the community, they will maintain a long-term presence, and they will not just wait out the criminals, they will actively seek the criminals, he noted. Reports are that gunmen posing as police attack a family yard, leaving 9 people shot, 5 of them fatal, including a 4-year-old child. The incident unfolded at approximately 8:45 p.m. on Sunday when several men, some reportedly wearing police-style vests, descended on the premises along Commodore Main Road. According to police reports, the attackers rushed into the yard and opened fire on the occupants.
This is criminal terrorism. This is designed to bring on the people of the community the highest level of fear. As the families would have pointed out to me, they don't feel safe, they want to move, they feel that there could be other attacks coming. This is designed to undermine the effectiveness of the state because this area was not without policing. This area was a part of the policing strategy to keep crime down in the area. There was police presence here, there was intelligence. But these men felt that they were emboldened in a barefaced way to come into this area and show that they are not in fear of the law, and in fact they could commit a crime with impunity and as if there will be no consequence. This incident in which attack, arbitrary attack, was unleashed on innocent citizens, by all accounts, a 4-year-old, 11-year-old, a 19-year-old, a mother of 3 children, by all accounts. Now, the conversation in the public domain as well about our crime fighting strategy sometimes forget the victims. And so my presence here as well is to highlight that we must also focus on the victims. You know, the 3 children who are left behind by the murder of an innocent mother. The father who was just crying a while ago, his son didn't get to give him a grandson. The grandmother who was crying in her room, who was saying her grandson was the one who took care of her. The society must place great importance on the victims of crime, in as much as sometimes we pay to the perpetrators of crime. The victims of crime deserve justice for Jamaicans too. I'm also here to assure the families and loved ones of the victims that the Jamaican state and government will support them through this very difficult time, whether it is with support in counseling or in supporting any other needs that may arise. As I have met with some of the family members, I am seeing where there are needs, and some have even expressed particular support that they would require. So the entire government will be mobilized to give support to the victims and the loved ones of the victims.
It started along the roadway into a yard along Commodore. Sometime there about 8:45 thereabout. It was reported that several men came down the road, rushed in the yard, and pretending to be police officers. In fact, it was said that they were dressed. Some of the men were dressed in police looking vests, which is pretty concerning for us as investigators at this time, because it doesn't represent the kind of operations of the police. The indicators so far are suggesting that this might be a continuation of gang conflict, which comes as a surprise to us because really and truly this area has been quiet for a while. And so now we have all our senior investigators, we have several senior officers who are on scene. We're trying to quickly, ensure that we have a strong response to the situation here. Unfortunately, in the numbers, we have a 4-year-old who, was brutally killed earlier. We are disturbed by what happened. The community is in shock. And so we are going to be providing the kind of leadership and resources that will bring a speedy resolve to this situation. The interesting thing is that it's not a yard that is strange to the police, because we've had reasons before to visit that location on numerous occasions. So we're aware, of some of the long-standing issues and challenges that were impacting that particular family.
Man charged after allegedly pulling gun on pump attendant and security guard. A 53-year-old man has been charged with possession of a prohibited weapon and assault at common law after allegedly brandishing a firearm during an altercation at a gas station in Discovery Bay, St. Anne. Charged is Gary Ferguson, a construction worker of Green Pond, Oakhurst in the parish. Reports indicate that on September 15 around 11:50 a.m., Ferguson parked his vehicle at the gas station pump, where he became involved in a dispute with the pump attendant. During the altercation, Ferguson is said to have pulled a gun from his pocket, pointed it at the attendant, and made threats. In fear for her safety, the attendant reportedly ran to a nearby store, where she raised an alarm, alerting the store supervisor and the security guard on duty. It is further alleged that Ferguson then confronted the security guard, who he believed was recording the incident. Ferguson reportedly drew his firearm again, pointing it in the guard's face before grabbing his phone and threatening him as well. From the confrontation, Ferguson is said to have driven away in his vehicle. The police were alerted and he was intercepted. The police said a 45mm pistol was seized and Ferguson was taken into custody. On October 3rd, Ferguson was formally charged based on statements collected that implicated him in the incident. A court date is now being finalized. To subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.